morning in the Electoral College race. You can see Donald Trump has 277 of those, and Kamala Harris is sitting at 224.
Also, according to the Associated Press, Republicans have won control of the Senate. West Virginia Republican Governor Jim Justice picking up a Senate seat there. Also, Florida Senator Rick Scott and Texas Senator Ted Cruz have both won their re-election bids. Republicans have 51 seats in the chamber. The last time the Republican Party took control of the Senate was in 2021. So certainly a historic night. Carrying into these morning hours, we are bringing you the latest results to get your day started. There is a lot to cover here.
Yeah, definitely. So we do want to bring you some team coverage of everything that we have for you this morning. Our Aaliyah Demery is live in Rochester. She's been covering the results of the Rochester Public Schools referendum that was on the ballot for voters here. And our Charles Kelly has been in the studio all morning long breaking down some of the other local races this morning. So we want to get right into sharing the results of that long-awaited decision of the Ignite Student Learning referendum for RPS.
Early this morning, we learned voters say yes. Our Aaliyah Demery is joining us live now outside of the Edison Building in Rochester to break down this yes vote, what it means for the future of the Rochester School District. Good morning.
Good morning, Jess and Kelsey. This was a top question on the ballot for Rochester voters, one impacting the entire community. But the school district's problems may be solved with this new funding. RPS asks voters for nearly $200 million for over 10 years to help cover the district's general expenses. The results show 57% as yes at 100% of the vote reporting. One of the biggest issues the referendum addresses is stabilizing the district's budget. The money will enhance curriculum, classroom needs, and technology improvements. On Election Day, KTTC met and spoke with Rochester voters. Some say RPS students are the future of the community and that they need support for their success. According to a head election judge working at Overland Elementary, he doesn't have any children but feels strongly that their future needs to be invested in.
Children are the future, and we should take care of those who choose to have children. Children don't decide whether or not to be born. They are born, and it's my duty, I believe, to give them the best future possible. So when it comes to funding our schools or free lunch programs for the students, I am all in favor of that, even if it doesn't benefit me personally.
With this referendum being approved, RPS dodged nearly $16 million in budget cuts. Now for homeowners across Rochester, you will see increases in your annual property taxes. For example, a home value of $325,000, you would pay about $29 a month. Reporting in Rochester, Aaliyah Demery. Back to you, Jess and Kelsey.
That is definitely a decision and a vote that impacts a lot of people in Rochester. Thank you for the full breakdown there, Aaliyah. We do want to stay with the school district. Some more races for RPS. We have board seat number 1. Incumbent Don Barlow coming out on top for this, beating out Patrick Farmer. Barlow has served for the past 8 years. Turning to seat 3, incumbent Karen McLaughlin wins this race with 99% precincts reporting. She was elected to this seat in 2020. Her challenger, John Whelan, campaigned with what he says is a focus on academics, budget, and common sense. Then we move to seat 7, 100% precincts reporting here for the public school board. It's currently held by Dr. Jessica Garcia, who is not seeking re-election. So in this race, Stephanie Whitehorn has beat out Christina Barton. A lot of names, a lot of races that we are covering for you this morning.
Many people who went out to the polls yesterday had to bring an umbrella or maybe a hooded jacket with them. We got a lot of rain yesterday.
A fair amount of rainfall, not excessive, but definitely steady. Light to moderate rain, almost half an inch, so much needed rain. We did receive most of it in the morning, but the rain came to an end last evening, and we remain dry this morning. In fact, we're done with rain for the next few days. A lot of clouds all hanging around as we look to the south. Right now, dry pavement, so change from yesterday. Otherwise, it does look similar with the clouds overhead. That's the current view from our Lewiston auto camera in Rochester. Visibility, not a problem here. No fog in Rochester. To the west, though, there is fog. In fact, quite a bit of it. Owatonna, less than a quarter of a mile, the current visibility. Austin, Albert Lee, Mankato, all at a quarter mile. So pretty thick fog going on right now. With that going on, we do have a dense fog advisory, and that runs until 10 o'clock this morning. Until that fog begins to lift, it's going to be kind of a slow-moving commute, I suspect, here for quite a portion of the area as we move along through the day. Clouds, then eventually there will be some erosion of that cloud cover with some sunshine as the fog also lifts, so things will brighten up later on as for the afternoon. 40 degrees right now here at the studio. Very light winds for the north. The winds will remain light throughout the day for the rest of our Wednesday. At the airport, we've dropped a degree in the last few minutes, down to 38 officially at RST, 34 in Owatonna. Mankato now at the freezing mark, 32. Mesa City 38 with some thick fog. Clouds and fog lifting. Look for some sunshine in the afternoon, a light breeze. High temperature 49. Really not a bad day for November standards. And yes, the rain, pesky showers out of the picture. And look for something peaceful and quiet and a little brighter for our Wednesday.
Peaceful and quiet are two very good words for the day after an election, Ted.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you. We appreciate that this morning. In the race for Rochester City Council member at large, or President, Randy Schubring, current chair of the Rochester Planning and Zoning Commission, has won this race over current City Council member Sean Palmer. Schubring and Palmer both shared with us why they felt they were best for the job.
I've been on the City Council for 6 years. I've watched the City Council for 30 years. And it's my belief and a lot of people's belief that you need to have that experience being on the City Council and then becoming Council President. Otherwise, it's really difficult to see what's going on.
I'm a former neighborhood leader, and so when you connect with your neighbors, neighbor to neighbor, it's where you build trust and respect for each other. And I think that is the basis of a thriving and safe city.
Staying with City Council, Ward 2 seat up for grabs, Mark Bransford deciding not to seek re-election this year. Nick Miller, a board member for We Bike Rochester, winning against Trip Welch, who is an administrator at Mayo Clinic. The race for City Council Ward 4, incumbent Kelly Ray Kirkpatrick was challenged by Andy Fredericks. He is the winner of this race. Looking to Ward 6, a district that has been in the headlines over the past year. Current Councilmember Molly Dennis filing a lawsuit against the city alleging discrimination due to her ADHD. She did not advance in the primary election in August. So for this seat, Pastor Dan Doring was running against Mark Schleusner, a former school board member. Doring coming out on top. There are many other school referendums that were voted on in our area.
Yeah, our Charles Kelly has been kind of digging into those, breaking down all of the results for us this morning. Good morning, Charles. What do you have for us now?
Good morning, Jess and Kelsey. Voters have decided on several referendums for school districts in southeast Minnesota and northeast Iowa. Let's start in Byron. The school district was seeking nearly $2 million for more a year from taxpayers over 10 years in the form of an operating referendum. Voters struck that down as a no. In Winona County, the Lewis and Altour School District also posed two questions to voters. The first is an operating referendum to increase per student spending. Here, they voted yes. Lewis and Altour's second question is a bond referendum of nearly $20 million for improvements to school facilities. Voters also saying yes. Moving on, two questions for voters in the Kingsland School District, serving the Spring Valley and Wyckoff communities. The first question seeks nearly $9 million for school building improvements. The full results coming in early this morning with a yes. And the second question requires the first question to be passed for it to even be considered. This $11.5 million ask is for a new physical education space, and voters said no. To northeast Iowa now, the Decorah Community School District was seeking voter support to the tune of $38 million for construction of a new elementary school. Voters did pass it and say yes. We'll have more election results throughout the morning, and you can view all the results on our website. Reporting live in studio, I'm Charles Kelly. Back to you.
Thank you, Charles. Let's take a look now at Minnesota's 1st congressional district, which spans the southern portion of the state.
Yeah, incumbent Republican Brad Finstad was challenged by DFLer Rachel Bowman of Rochester, a former elected official on the Rochester Township Board. In this congressional District 1 race, Finstad once again wins that seat, the seat that he had already held in U.S. Congress. This means the Republican will serve another 2 years in the House of Representatives. Finstad says he is honored to have earned the support of his neighbors here in southern Minnesota. After a celebration Tuesday night, Finstad says he's going back to Washington next week to keep working. Finstad says while emotions may have been high, it is important to find a balance. So a win, again, for Finstad. It is 6:39. It has been a stressful election season, but it is now in the books.
And many Americans are waking up anxious to learn who their new president will be. We now know that is Donald Trump. So we will be talking with our correspondent in Washington about the latest developments with this after the break.
And your weather checklist today, things to consider. We don't need the rain gear this time. We have a dry day in store for us, but we are looking at some seasonally chilly conditions. You'll need that jacket, light or long sleeve shirt, maybe a sweatshirt, something like that. Coffee, and maybe some sunglasses. We'll start today with clouds and in some cases fog, but later on sunshine reemerges and we have more days of sunshine in store this week. Details are straight ahead in your first alert forecast, so stay with us.
Welcome.
Continuing coverage of the big race of the election. Of course, we're talking about the race for the presidency,
which was decided overnight. So people that are waking up this morning are the ones that are seeing this information for the first time. Of course, a long night for both Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. We want to know, do we have a winner? We indeed do. Let's bring in our Washington correspondent, Ashanti Ford. She's live in D.C. You've been working through the morning hours with us, Ashanti, and we welcome you back this morning. Okay, we're looking at the latest numbers here. They're showing that Donald Trump has the win against Kamala Harris. So talk to us about the state that kind of really helped push through to those 270 electoral votes needed.
Yeah, good morning to you both. It was Wisconsin. That was the last state that put him over the threshold, which you need 270 to win. Wisconsin put him at 277. Now, when I woke up around 3 o'clock this morning, he was at 267 electoral votes, but around 5:30 a.m., that's Eastern Standard Time, he was officially named the 47th president of the United States. I know many of us watched his speech last night. He already accepted the Oval Office. And while the polls have said, you know, this was a close race for some months, when it comes down to it, he did win by a sizable margin.
And we here living fairly close to La Crosse, so many campaign visits here. So Wisconsin really was important in this race. We've heard so much about the race to the White House and covering that, but there's a lot for people waking up this morning to know about House and Senate races. What are the surprises here, Ashanti?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's switch gear because I do agree we've really been inundated with the presidential election. So let's talk a little bit about Congress. As of right now, Republicans did win control of the Senate, which ends 4 years of Democratic control. And now they're fighting to stay on top of the House, right? For a little background there, all 435 House seats are up for grabs this year. And it really only takes a few moves in one direction or the other to make or break which party ends up on top. I also want to note that Sarah McBride, she's going to be the first openly transgender member of Congress after she won the election out of Delaware. I should also mention House Minority Leader, that's Hakeem Jeffries. He could be the first black Speaker of the House, which would be history here on the Hill. So lots of things still moving around here in the nation's capital.
Yeah, Ashanti, we appreciate all of your really in-depth reporting, not only today, but this whole week that you've been covering all of this election stuff. So we hope you have a good rest of your day, and we hope you can get some sleep later.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Have a great day.
Thanks.
No rain gear necessary today, so Jess, looking into her closet, has decided to forego the bright yellow rain boots. Don't need those today. Instead, going to the hoodie and looking at a bright day of some sunshine. The mittens or the gloves at first, but then in the afternoon the sun reemerges, breaks through the clouds. We'll enjoy a day of some sunshine, at least for part of the day. Look for temperatures around 49 and some sunglasses, at least for part of the day for our Wednesday.
Always something different coming out of your closet there.
Walking shoes. We all need a walk today, a long walk in the sun.
Oh, we sure do, especially after this day. It is 6:47. We have Your Vote 2024. We're sharing more on what happened on Election Day in North Iowa.
Plus, activity picks back up today in Mankato Court. The Adam Frabel murder trial will resume. Closing arguments are on tap that you need to know coming up. Let's also take a quick live look at your Wednesday morning commute. Highway 52 at 55th Street Northwest. We'll be right back.
Your Touchstone Energy Cooperative Node.
And now, your first alert forecast.
Rain is out of the picture today, but we're still dealing with clouds, some gloom, and even some areas of thick fog. You can see that's they're going on right now as the skies are brightening, but we don't see a lot of evidence of sunshine yet. Here's the current view from some of our Lewiston auto cameras. A lot of grayness, especially in Mankato and Austin, where the visibility has dropped to less than a quarter of a mile. You're waking up to some pretty thick fog in those areas. Lake City, some gray skies. You almost see where the sun wants to break through, and it will in time today, I think, later this morning into the afternoon. Here in Rochester, solid sheet of gray, but the rain not in the weather picture. The pavement is not wet this morning. In contrast to yesterday's nearly 1/2 inch of rainfall that we received in Rochester. Visibility not a concern in Rochester, but Austin, you see there the visibility to a quarter of a mile. Owatonna less than a quarter of a mile. And also in Albert Lee and Mankato. Those dealing with some fairly thick fog. Mason City also just slightly more than a mile in visibility. So you see why there's a dense fog advisory along and west of Interstate 35, Mason City, Albert Lee up to Owatonna, everything to the west of there. Also in that dense fog advisory, Mankato in that as well. Until 10 o'clock this morning, we'll deal with fog and increasing sunshine beyond that by late morning and during the afternoon as high pressure works its way through the region. And overall, a peaceful day. It looks like a nice November day, especially once the fog lifts. Right now, it's 38 in Rochester, officially at the airport, 34 in Owatonna, Mankato. You're waking up to 32 this hour. Kind of that's the cold spot in the map, where skies briefly cleared overnight and temperatures have been allowed to drop, reaching the dew point level. So we have radiative cooling and saturation in the atmosphere. There goes the fog. That's where it comes from. 36 right now in Forest City. What we're looking for today, eventually the fog to lift, then some sunshine, extra sunshine tomorrow and Friday. Rain chances do return. That'll happen over the weekend. But future track today, clouds, some fog in spots, peaks of sunshine maybe by lunchtime. Heading into the afternoon, a fair amount of sunshine, a very light breeze. Temperatures in the upper 40s, which again is typical for this time of the year. 30s tonight with light winds. And tomorrow, a hint of a breeze, tons of sun, and temperatures in the low 50s. We'll be in the mid-50s on Friday. That may be the best day of the next several, with rain chances coming in, a brisk breeze over the weekend. Rain chances mostly Saturday afternoon and early Sunday. And temperatures mostly, though, above average from the 40s today, mostly 50s, at least until next Tuesday, when we then see maybe something a little cooler in the long term, but at least for a few days, some 50s ahead. Today, upper 40s with clouds and some sunshine in Rochester, Mason City, even Mankato. Tonight, dropping into the mid-30s, partly cloudy skies, and your 10-day temperature tracker, first from Mankato, showers this weekend, but temperatures 40s and low 50s throughout the week, and that's typical, if not a little better than average for November. Extra sunshine here in Rochester, especially tomorrow and Friday, before those showers come in for at least a big part of the upcoming weekend, but still some decent days to look forward to in our future.
Yeah, we always love when you have decent days to report for us to look forward to there, Ted.
I do what I can.
We appreciate it, always. Thank you. Closing arguments in Adam Fravel's murder trial are set to begin today in Mankato.
Fravel's defense resting its case Friday after presenting 5 witnesses. Fravel is accused of murdering the mother of his children, Madeline Kingsbury. She went missing from the Winona area in March of 2023. Her remains were found north of Mabel in June of that year. Fravel did not take the stand. However, the jury cannot use that decision against him during their deliberations.
We do have some more election results to bring you this morning, as we have been all morning long. We want to turn now to North Iowa to see what we have there. House District 59, representing the majority of Cerro Gordo County. This is the seat currently held by Sharon Steckman, a Mason City Democrat who is not seeking re-election. Republican Christian Hermanson and Democrat Jeremy True running for this spot, and Hermanson coming out 51% here of the vote, with 99% precincts reporting. In the race for Iowa Senate District 30, Republican incumbent Doug Campbell against Democrat Richard Lawrence. As you can see, 99% precincts recording with Doug Campbell, rather, as the winner, projected winner there. In the race for Iowa Senate District 32, Republican incumbent Mike Klimisch facing off against Democrat Brian Bruning. Again, 99% of precincts reporting here that Klimisch will be taking the win.
There will be a new sheriff in town for Cerro Gordo County. Current Sheriff Kevin Pels deciding not to seek re-election. Republican David Hepperly was up against Democrat Brian Koob. Hepperly, voters say, gets that job.
How does it feel to win this?
Feels great. Big relief, to be honest with you, but really feels good. I'm glad that the citizens have put their trust in me and we've prevailed in this race.
Turning now to some Mankato area elections. For Mankato City Council at-large seat, incumbent Mike Lavin has defeated Brett Skilbrett by a vote of 57 to 42%. Lavin is the current president of the City Council, Skilbrett a business leader based in Mankato. In North Mankato, the election for their at-large City Council seat has been called for Billy Steiner. He will now be entering his 8th consecutive 4-year term as a City Council member, and he won with just under 32% of that vote. In the Blue Earth area, residents there voted overwhelmingly against their school referendum. The Blue Earth Area School Board was asking for close to $67 million in building bonds that would have been used to fund the construction of a new pre-K through 6 elementary school facility and gymnasium. The referendum would also have helped to renovate the local high school and the deconstruction of the old elementary and middle school. Of course, we have all of your election results on our website, and you can check those out. A lot of names and numbers to get through today, so thank you for being with us as together we are going through the results on this day after the election that Ted says should have some sun later.
I think some sunshine, yeah. It's going to take hours for that to happen then. So there are some areas dealing with the thick fog west of Rochester right now, but here in the Med-City, clouds, then some sunshine, and we'll all be looking at least some sun by late morning and for a big part of the afternoon. Not much wind. Temperature is very typical for this time of the year. We start in the 30s for a high of 49 this afternoon for our Wednesday. Warmer days ahead with light winds and extra sun. Thursday and Friday look pretty good. The weekend a little breezier, a little wetter. Showers come in Saturday afternoon, lasting into the early parts of Sunday, and then more sun next week.
Thank you, Ted. Have a good morning.
We'll see you again tomorrow.
How you gonna reach your highs if you